Rise of Sugar by Jure, Kamale, G, Tasha, and Haley.
During the new era in Hawaii, Ladd and Company of Honolulu was the first established sugarcane plantation. After William, Hooper, and Peter had landed, they opened a mercantile trading house, otherwise known as the Ladd and Company of Honolulu. Together, they leased 980 acres of land for cultivation of sugarcane from King Kamehameha III. This occurred on the east side of Waihohonu Stream in Koloa. This went for 50 years and was $300 a year. They also secured permission to hire natives to work in the plantation. They all agreed to pay tax for each man that was employed to Kauikeaolu, king of Hawaii, and Ka'ai Kioewa, who was the governor of Kauai. They also had to agree to pay the workers satisfactory wages. Koloa was a fitting place for the beginning of a sugar industry in the islands. The place itself literally meant great king, Ko meaning cane and Loa meaning great.
The plantation of the Ladd and Company was the first large operation. For 10 years, growers did only little and locals demanded supplies. Also, settlers needed provisions, so they worked on the fields for sugar, molasses, coffee, and potatoes. Hawaii exported food to California and Oregon in 1849. The demands for sweet potatoes skyrocketed. The potato boom lived very shortly. In 1851, Californians and Oregonians raised more of their own potatoes. Sugar still continued to be in demand, and the people formed the RHAS, which stands for Royal Hawaiian Agricultural Society, which contracted the first Chinese plantation workers. In the Civil War, sugar was the greatest promise, and later sugar replaced whaling as Hawaii's basic industry.
In the early 1800s, the chiefs didn't want to allow foreigners to use large tracts of land for agriculture, but some were granted. Like Governor Boki permitted John Wilkinson to start a sugar plantation in Manoa Valley in 1825, and in 1835 gave permission to William French to build a sugar mill on Kauai, but both attempts failed. Then in 1835, Ladd and Company leased land from Kamehameha III for a plantation at Kauai, there establishing the first successful sugar plantation in Hawaii. Later on, the Great Mahele led to changes in land laws that enabled foreigners to lease and buy land for plantations. The plantations needed more laborers, but then the California gold rush drew hundreds of laborers away, but the demand for potatoes and other vegetables encouraged them to return. With the return to Hawaii, they brought along with them many diseases that killed thousands of natives. Because of this great loss in laborers, due to the diseases, the legislature of Hawaii passed an act for the government of masters and servants that gave the government approval to import foreigners as contract laborers. The first ship carrying laborers came in 1852, carrying about 200 Chinese workers. The contract had them working for 5 years at $3 a month. Then in 1864, planters formed a planters society to discuss the labor problem, and that same year the legislature passed another law creating the Bureau of Immigration to supervise the importation of foreign laborers. Laborers kept coming from China and later from Japan, Korea, Portugal, and other places.
Labor means products made by humans to use in making other goods and services. David Weston is an ingenious mechanic working at Lihue Plantation and fashioned his own small centrifugal machine.
In 1850 to 1872 was the early development of sugar industry. Centrifugal machine, which is separated sugar from molasses. The steam power introduced itself in 1853, which replaced water and animal power. In 1856, irrigation was first used on Lihue Plantation, which was 10 miles long with tunnels was dug. In 1860s, animal manure were used and commercial fertilizers came along 20 years later. Another innovation was soil analysis. This found that soil condition is and types varied from plantation to plantation. The Hawaiian Sugar Planters Association in 1895 started an experiment station where chemists analyzed soils and fertilizer.